Tighten that up. All right. Now, I might be looking a little crooked, so forgive me, y'all. Trying to straighten this up. I didn't straighten everything out. There we go. That's all right. Now tighten that down. All right, my other phone. All these phones, calendars, and everything, right? There's some stuff I got tomorrow that's not on my calendar here. Okay, that ain't good. What's going on, Shannon? What's going on? Yeah, I got some orders that's on this. It's not on my calendar. I gotta keep that in mind for tomorrow. We'll see. We'll figure it out. What's going on, babe? Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on one second. One second. I gotta. And then. All right, all right, all right. All right, I'm back. Okay, now I had to add in an order onto my calendar so I know for tomorrow, and I didn't have it, so I had to make sure in case an order come in. What's going on? Tuning in from Maryland. What's going on, party people? Yeah, I figured I'd hop on here, do a live. I got to go out to Franklin, uh, making good time. I just really got started, but yeah, I'm heading out to Franklin, Virginia. Yeah, it's an hour-long drive to go out there, so that's cool. Yeah, yeah, it might be a little quirky. The audio and stuff trying to should be coming through my microphone here. How about that? Does that sound any better? I turned the air off and stuff. And this car I got is a little on the loud side too, so it might be picking up other noises and stuff. Let me see something here. Let me check a setting on here real quick. Um, all right, how about now? All right. Okay, I just did a setting change on my microphone, so hopefully that fixed it. Yeah, drive safe. You right, babe. So, and I hope it's not trying to come through the whatchamacallit, the phone microphone, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. So, but hopefully, I mean, just tell me what level can y'all hear me? Like on a scale of 1 to 10. What level can y'all hear me? 1 being can't really hear me at all and understand what I'm saying. 5, if you focus real good, you can hear me. And above 5, you can deal with it and make out what I'm saying. So I got a 10, right? But yeah, no, I just wanted to see if anybody got any questions, any comments, any concerns, anything going on in their life concerning the notary business. I've been doing some thinking about notary pay, about how we're getting paid. And I sort of think I understand the way SnapDocs versus signing order operates. There's a little bit of echo on your end. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Well, you all the way out there in California, Wanda, so that's probably why. You're all the way out there in California. Yeah. So let me see if I bring my microphone down a little bit closer to me. Maybe that'll help out and stuff. But oh, it sounds like I'm in an empty room. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Then again, it might be StreamYard too. It might be StreamYard. Let me see something here. Uh, Uh, just picking up there. Check, check. Okay, maybe that fixed it. All right, hopefully that fixed it. Maybe that's it. I got you. I got you, Robin. All right, but yeah, one of the things that I've recently learned was that with SnapDocs, they send out us the money, just vendor pay, because I never really understood vendor pay, and I'm starting to understand it. So with SnapDocs, it appears that they collect the money from the signing company, whoever hired us, signing company, title company, whoever's on their platform, and you're with vendor pay. They collect the money from them, and then from there, SnapDocs sends us the money. And SnapDocs typically sends us the money in 8 to 10 days after they notify us. So they'll send you an email saying you're going to get paid within 8 to 10 days. Then you get another email saying, boom, here's your money, within 24 hours. And typically for me, within, the next morning, my money is there within that 24-hour period after I get the email. So I've been thinking about this for a while. I'm like, okay, signing order, a lot of them are like, you're going to get paid in 45, 60 days. Okay, gotcha. Keep doing the work with them, know you got money coming. But what I believe the way SnapDocs is working is that they're making sure they're like, okay, y'all signing companies, title companies, whoever pay us. And I guess that 8 to 10 days is clear time, to make sure that their money clears that they're receiving so that they can process it and then send it out to us. Now, to me, right now I'm getting paid faster through SnapDocs. You don't like to hear, hey, you're about to get paid, and then you got to say, oh, but it's going to be another 8 to 10 days. But it's quicker than the normal fees that we've been getting. Oh man. Oh, okay, Shannon. Yeah, because Shannon was with them. Yeah, and see, I'm gonna get on that in a second. Because I've been talking about that with the members on the channel. We've been talking about that. So, if I'm going right. So, with the signing company on signing order, it appears that whenever the signing companies on there get their money whenever, they could get it that same week or whatever, but they go through their process and they probably operate from the standpoint, once I get all the money for what I did last month and this, that, and the other, then I cut the check. So they're making sure their bills are paid, this, that, and the other, and then they're cutting the check to us. Because I've been hearing more about signing companies on signing order saying that they can't function anymore, they can't pay people than I do on SnapDocs. And a lot of people have a lot of issues with SnapDocs, but I haven't not gotten paid from SnapDocs. I don't think, as far as I can recall, I don't think so. If I have, I got to check. But I've always gotten paid from SnapDocs. For the most part, I've gotten paid from signing order. It's been a few late checks here and there, but some of those companies aren't on there anymore. So I'm not saying that that's bad or good. I'm just saying this is what I think that how they operate, and just be aware of that as a new signing agent coming into this business, new notary. That's how they operate. So what that tells me is that I think I'm on average, I'm getting my pay about within 15 to 17 days after I do a closing on SnapDocs. And I think that's pretty good. So the money's coming in. The wife likes the fact that the money's coming in. And then I just keep trucking away. And that's why I'm telling y'all right now, it's about volume. It's about you going out here and doing as much volume as you can so that you got money coming in. Do as much as you can in the beginning part of the month. So by the beginning of the next month, you start having money coming in. But there are a lot of companies, even on signing order, that will pay you every 30 days, and there's a few that'll pay you weekly. So if they got their monies right, they got a line of credit or whatever, just money sitting in the bank,
and they're able to pay you, and then they get paid on the back end, you're going to see your money coming through. But you got to be doing the work in order to have money coming through. If you ain't doing the work, then how do you get money coming in if you're not doing any work when the opportunities are there? And of course, we all know it's all about the opportunities, which goes into what Shannon was talking about, that she stopped working with the title company after 15 years. This is what I saw from the get-go when I got into this business, and I started really understanding what title companies do, the lenders do, and I started understanding the process, and then what signing companies do and the reach that each one has. The lenders have a reach nationwide for the most part, some of them, depending on whether they're a broker or a traditional lender, things of that nature. So if they're a traditional lender, they typically have a reach nationwide to service loans nationwide. And I think it was Matt or somebody a couple of months back on Judy's Clubhouse, they broke it down how they came out with they deregulated and allowed mortgage companies to sell mortgages across state lines. The issue sometimes is whether or not that mortgage company is what they call a mortgage broker and things of that nature, and their lending practices in some states have restrictions to make sure that there's no predatory lending. So there is some limitations to where lenders can go and put out loans and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes they might not think it's worth the effort to go into some little, town of only, 1,500 people to do mortgages, and just the local bank does it. Or they may partner with the local bank to do it. Therefore, you might not even have a mobile notary go into that little tiny town because it's just so few people, and they just go to the local bank and get their mortgages and things of that nature. Or that big time lender just buys them up. So the lender is limited, to a degree, but they have a good reach. The title company, escrow settlement people, but we'll just say title, and that'll encompass all three. They typically have to get permission or file, business license and things of that nature to operate in different states. That part I know because I talked to the Secretary of State here in Virginia, and they told me specifically that when title companies, submit to operate here, there's certain rules they have to follow. And one of the rules is that notaries in Virginia can't collect closing funds unless we have a settlement license. So unless we get a settlement license, get appointed and all of that, we can't collect closing funds. And they make sure that those title companies know this. And one of the title companies, okay. And one of the that told them to call me on my other number. One of the title companies, Villa Title, they was the ones that educated me on that when they sent me two FedEx slips. And I was like, why did y'all send me two? And they said, well, we can't allow you to collect closing funds in Virginia. And then when I went and did the research, I was like, oh, okay, I never knew that. That wasn't something that the Secretary of State for notaries said. The Secretary of State for title insurance, they knew that, and the two not talking. So the title companies and stuff, they're primarily doing business on a local state, situation. When you're working direct, if you're working direct, those people probably are just only dealing with the people in-house. Do they have national title companies like Boston National Title, Villa Title? Who else? It's a couple of, I don't forget them. But there's other title companies out there that are national, and they have to follow the regulatory things for each state, and they have a bigger reach. So those companies tend to operate, and those are the ones who are working through the signing companies. SnapDocs as a signing company, or through them, you got SnapDocs, you got Signing Order, and you see those companies on those platforms. But when you're working with a title company that is just strictly a local title company and you want to work direct with them, well, even if it is a national title company, guess what? That title company might have something in North Carolina, but I'm in Virginia. So the local title company is only dealing with properties in your immediate vicinity, and they're competing with everybody else. And as I've always said, and we've been talking about this with the YouTube members, if the title company is connected with a lender who has limited reach, and that limited reach, even though they might be national, but the limited reach may be we only do refis. And if they're only dealing with refis and the interest rate goes up, especially now that it's getting close to 8%, the refis dry up for that lender, and therefore the business dries up for the title company. So if you're working direct for the title company as a W-2 or as a independent contractor, when their money dries up, your money going to dry up. And that's why Bill Soroka was saying way back in 2018, 2019, have a hybrid approach where you're working with both. You're working with title and signing companies. And the two, and between the two, you should be able to stay afloat. Now, granted, certain states it's harder to work with title companies, especially with the attorney states. But if you're not an attorney state, you should be out there turning and burning as much as you can when the opportunities come. And yes, some of the fees are low. I get that. But if you're trying to just get money in, and if you're concerned, I focus more on the totality of the dollar amount that I'm bringing in for the month. So if I can bring in 6, 7, 8 grand, I'm at a point that I don't care how much I have to work to do it. I'm just going to go do it. There was a time where I didn't have to work that hard to get that kind of money. Now it's a time that I'm going to have to work that hard to get the money. So the question is, am I willing to do that? If I am, cool. If I'm not, then I can't complain about what I don't have. And that's the same thing in a W-2. If you're not willing to do the work to get promoted to ... then I say yes to that. You know, if you're not willing to do that, that's a TBD. And I always tell y'all with to be determined, for the most part, I would 99% of the time I say yes to those, because then I can squeeze those in around my schedule of my already booked assignments. So that was one for Hampton for $90 to go do a closing of sellers, and whether they give it to me or not. Now, actually, this company will never give me nothing, so I don't know if they might not like me, but they keep sending me notifications, but they never select me. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe they don't like it because I don't do their lower fee orders, but their lower fee orders I just don't have time to do because they're always sending them at these weird, crazy times and stuff that I'm already booked. So it's just a timing issue. But the signing companies are trying to do stuff nationwide. They're trying to get in there. What's going on, Frank? They're trying to get in there and get as much work as possible. So if you have a balance of, and you use the term balance, there's no like 35, 65, balance or 50-50. Just have connections with both. It took me about 3 years to get connected with some solid direct clients. I'm about to lose a direct client. They're about to go out of business because one of the title companies they're associated with is ending their contract because they are not doing enough closings per month, and I guess they have a minimum of 10 per month that they have to do, and they're not hitting 10 a month, so they're terminating their service contract and agreement, saying we're no longer going to support you. They're still a title company, but they just can't do title closings for them and all of that. So that right there is gone. That's $150 gone, per signing, gone. Then I have another direct client. They're fine. They got work coming in. I'm about to do a 3-person closing for them next week. Sit down today and send out the emails to everybody, get everybody all coordinated and set. So directs come and go, just like signing companies come and go. But you're going to have to be willing to be fluid, not just flexible, but fluid and flow with the current that is there, and you'll get through this, you'll get through this, so it's all about, one of the things that hurts business owners, and let me just look at some of the comments. One of the issues is that sometimes we only see we only see right now, and we don't see further down the road with stuff that's going on. Case in point, like people saw, like FTX, we know about the crypto thing, and there was people who were like, they just saw the right now, I can make a bunch of money now. I think that's happening with the notary from 2 years ago. I can make a bunch of money right now. Then you have the Chat GPT. I can make a bunch of money right now. Training. I can make a bunch of money right now. But they weren't looking at the future of this, where, if notaries stop getting opportunities to make money being a notary, and all I'm doing is training, where's my money going to come? Because all of my money is tied up in you actually taking my training and signing up for my groups and my membership stuff. But if you get discouraged and no longer want to do the business, then guess what? I'm done, because I'm not able to make money from selling you stuff anymore. So you have to still be able to make money with your stamp as a notary. But the problem comes is that, as much as people say they want to have multiple streams of income, they really want to have something that they don't have to do a whole lot of effort in, and it just happens and comes to them no matter what. It's like, I'm just sitting back chilling, but there's work involved in everything, and just like last night, I'm on Thumbtack now. I really wasn't jiving with Thumbtack, because when I first got on it, I was just having some really bad luck, or whatever you want to call it, with them. I was like, man, this ain't working. But I said, I'm gonna give it another shot, and I've been making money on it. Not as much as what I'm spending to be on there, but I'm making money. And last night, somebody had an order, and I hopped on it. I made $30, 35. They gave me a $5 tip, and I was like, all right, cool. And I was getting ready to sit down and eat. The order came in about 7 something. And I was like, okay, I can get with you around 8:30-ish. And they was like, that's fine. Went, did what I had to do, had some other stuff to do, met up with them, made my money, kept it going. And all of these little $30, $40, $50 is adding up. But the question you have to ask yourself, is it about you trying to make as much money as you possibly can with as little effort as you possibly can put out? Or is it about you just making money, irregardless of the effort? And I think part of the problem right now is that people think this social media is the notary business, and it's not. Social media is not the notary business. It's an extension of what we do to just communicate and to share and to tell people stuff. But to be a notary, you don't have to be on social media. You don't have to market on social media. You don't have to be in anybody's room. You don't have to be on a live. You don't have to be on any of that stuff. You really, really don't. Thank you, Robin. Okay, cool. So it might have been just my connection. But the key thing is, this is about you doing the work. You going out here and saying, okay, here's an opportunity. Let me take advantage. And I'm sure that even some of y'all probably, oh man, okay, I see what happened. I'm trying to was somebody done ran into the back of a tractor 18-wheeler. Dude, weren't paying attention. That ain't me. Yeah, ran into the back of an 18-wheeler. His car probably totaled. But I remember getting phone calls from people telling me if I don't get the documents a day ahead of time, I'm saying I'm canceling the order. If I don't get the document, in some cases 2 or 3 days ahead of time, I'm canceling the order. And I'm like, but they gave you, well, I need the documents ahead of time. And I'm sitting here like, why would you do that? Well, I just need the document because I need to go over them. And I'm like, to do what? Well, I need to review them and I need to read through them and I need to analyze them and see what's going on so that if there's any questions coming up, I'm like, but if a question comes up, that's not for you. That's for the person who created the documents. Just take care of the notarization part. And these are the calls that I used to get. I don't get them anymore because those people probably not even in the business anymore. And I remember one of the last calls I got, a lady told me, she said, I don't get phone calls anymore. And I was like, okay. And that's when she was telling me, explaining how she would be canceling all the time. Or if the documents came and it was a number of pages more than what she felt that she wanted, she would get nervous and was like, I'm gonna just cancel. And I'm sitting here like, and you trying to figure out why you're not getting phone calls anymore, why you're not getting the notifications, or if you do get the notifications, why they're not selecting you. Because ... You get what I'm saying? There's a reason behind that. There's a reason why, because you have made them feel as though you can't be relied on. They might like you. They might think you do good work. You might do good work, but then if the documents don't get to you by a certain whatever, you're going to cancel on them. And what a lot of notaries don't understand is that when you accept that order and they solidify it, they send out a notification to pretty much everybody that's in the part of it. The scheduler, of course, the post closers got it, the lender has it, the title company, all of these people have that Shannon is going to be doing this closing. And then Shannon she's like, well, let's say she gets the order today, Wednesday, for next Wednesday. And then all of a sudden on Monday, Shannon, or let's just say Friday, Shannon is like, I'm not doing the order because I don't have the documents so I can review them over the weekend. And now Shannon is canceling, and that means that signing company has to go tell everybody that you don't want to do it and why. And that makes that signing company looks bad. It makes them look really, really bad. Now, as messed up as sometimes the signing companies can do things to us, doing that consistently and constantly hurts everybody. And then they're like, okay, I don't want to trust. You know what? And who knows, that signing company might be getting penalized or whatever. And not saying that you can't cancel, but it's when you're doing it all the time. And the reasoning behind it is like, well, I need the documents 3 days ahead of time, or 2 days ahead of time, or 5 hours ahead of time. Sometimes that don't happen. Now, have I canceled an order? Yes, there's been times where I will reach out to them and say, hey, look, I have y'all at 3 o'clock. I got a 5 o'clock. The documents appear like they're not going to be here because it's going to run me late trying to get to my next appointment status, and let them know. So in a situation like that, that's different. But I'm talking about when you just have an opportunity to do the closing and for some arbitrary reason you just cancel. That's what's happening. And you have all of these quirks. So if you're in business to make money, sometimes you got to do stuff last minute. If you had a janitorial business and you're sitting here about to go to a job and somebody said, hey, look, last minute, look, we need somebody to clean this other building over here. Can you do that for us tonight? Just get it done. You're going to be like, okay, I'm gonna have to stay up till 2 in the morning to get it done, but I'll get it done. But it's like with the notary business, we don't have that same energy. Your W-2, you'll stay up all night, you'll get up early, all of that kind of stuff. You'll get your babies up early in the morning, they still sleep in the daggone car seat, and you go do what you got to do for that W-2. But for this, I mean, I'm specifically talking about for the notary business. I hear so many people with excuses as to why they can't do. Now, if your life doesn't support you on that grind like that, then you might need to find a different business, because the notary business, the notary industry, the mortgage industry, they got to flow. And what's happening is that a lot of people are trying to come in and say, okay, you're going to run it this way. You're going to do it my way. And I know there are people who have gotten out here and made those claims. But I tell them this and they just do it. And okay, but I don't think all 6,000, 10,000, 20,000 title and lenders are going to just do it just because notaries say, I want my documents now, and just do it. You know, it might just spend time. You know what I'm saying? Nobody knows the dynamics and the logistics of why that was able to happen. But that can't be the case for everybody, because my thing is, if you got that much pull in the notary business, why didn't you have that much pull in your $15 an hour job as a W-2 to get them to pay you $35 or $40 an hour and make some real money? You know, maybe I'm missing it. You know, maybe I'm missing it. But it's just like everybody's coming in this business like they got so much cachet and they got so much power and so much influence, you know, that they're the smartest person in the room, and you've only been a notary for a little bit. And it's like, okay, but what were you doing in your W-2? Just sitting there, typing away, hammering away, and you wasn't really doing anything of any significance to grow yourself. You just accepted what they gave you, and now it's, I'm the king, I'm the queen, pay me, and then we teaching that to other people, and those folk haven't even gotten started. So for new notaries, I know you hear a lot of stuff out there. You need to weigh that stuff. You need to really analyze that stuff that people are talking about and challenge them on what they're saying, question them, and make sure that what they're saying is even applicable to you. Because if it's not, and you try to implement something, it can get you into a lot of trouble. If y'all listen to the Clubhouse from the other night, Amy was saying how she had to ban, Amy from Cyberizer had to ban 10 notaries off of her platform and report to their Secretary of State, because they were doing stuff illegal, they was doing stuff wrong, and the things that they was doing wrong had nothing to do with marketing. It was all centered around, for a second I thought that was a snake in the road, that was a shadow. It was all centered around notarizations. They weren't notarizing documents correctly electronically. So a question that people ask me all the time, should I do face-to-face notarizations first before getting online? And the answer that I've always heard, and I feel myself, yes, get good at doing it that way, confident in making sure you understand how to properly notarize that way. Then you'll know what you're doing when you get online. And a lot of people, I mean, the bottom line is, I always say, it still centers, everything rises and falls on proper notarizations. So when you got somebody banning people, not because they didn't mark it correctly, not because they didn't explain the document correctly, but because they did improper notarizations, you need to take note of that and pay attention and be like, can I properly notarize a document? And if you can, then your level of success goes up tremendously. You don't have to worry about being banned from anything, because of the reason for banishment is improper notarizations, along with your bad attitude for not going back and fixing what you messed up or continuing to mess up. That's really where it starts at. You're not doing your job as a notary correctly, and you popping off an attitude about going back and correcting it, or learning how not to make that same mistake over and over and over again. And if you really sit down and talk to people privately, especially notaries who got, you'll find out that is really the heart of why a lot of them have gotten put out the business some of the people, look, I'm learning that there are a lot of notaries in this. They don't understand, their reading comprehension isn't where it needs to be. And I've talked about this before. When you can't read and comprehend the verbiage that is outlined in a notarial statement, that's a problem. You can't read and understand the verbiage that is outlined in your notary handbook, that's a problem. Because if your handbook is telling you how you should and should not do notarizations, but you're struggling understanding the verbiage that is laid out in there, and you can't comprehend the terms and things of that nature, that can also be a problem. I mean, what's y'all thoughts about that? What do y'all think? I'm not saying that you have to be college educated, but your reading comprehension has to be to a certain level. That when you read these books that they write on how to do notarizations, you have to be able to understand them. You have to be able to read the notarial certificate that somebody puts on there and make sure you understand what it's saying in order to know whether or not it lines up with your state requirements. But then again, you have to be able to say, I understand my state's requirements. So reading is fundamental. Whether you are, and there are people that I know who are highly educated, but they have a hard time comprehending certain basic and common, phrases, or the way it was written. It's not technical enough. It's not, as I call it, studious enough. It doesn't have enough big words in it. It just has these small words of don't do this, don't do that, do it this way, do it that way. And they read too much into it, or they don't have the ability to even understand the common basic words. And they're like, okay, well, I don't know what, I'm gonna just do what I feel. And all of that can get us in trouble, and we know this. But let me see what you say. What's going on, Tara? And I'm gonna tell y'all, the last minute signings, that has been my bread and butter. Last minute whatever has been my bread and butter, helping me to make the money that I need to make. And I've been blessed by it. I really have. I've been blessed by the last minute signings. I love them. If I can do them, cool. If I can't, I've never been punished because I can't do a last minute signing. I'll be straight with you. If they call and it says TBD and I call them, and I say, hey, and my times don't match with when they're available, I just let the signing company know. But what I do to help the signing company is find out from the borrower, when are you available? What is your schedule? And they say, okay, well, I know you said, notary, you're available at 5, but we don't even get home until 7:30 because we get off at 5 and then we got to go do this and do that and pick this kid up and that kid up and drop that kid off. So we'll be home about 7:30. I'm like, okay, got it. And then I can tell the signing company, hey, they said they're going to be off at 7:30. I'm going to be booked at 7:30. I'm available at 5. So we can't make that happen. Now, here's the thing that you can do. And I don't think and I've never been told that it's a problem. You can do your own split signing in certain cases. Let's just say, and it depends on whether you got the time to do it. You call to confirm the order. How you doing? Just Stephen Griffin Notary. Yeah, I'm looking for the Smiths. Yeah. Scheduled to meet with y'all sometime today. Need to coordinate a time, and my first time available is 5 p.m. I've had situations where one spouse says, I'm gonna be home at 5, but they're not gonna be home till almost 6. At that point, I'm like, that's not a problem. And especially if I don't have anything going down afterwards, not a problem. I said, if you don't mind, I come there at 5. I said, well, how about this? How about I get there at 5:30? That way I'm not having to hold that much of a late, time to wait. I get there at 5:30 or even 5:45, and we'll get started with you. But mostly I do 5:30. We get started with you. And then when they come in, keep it going. And I've had situations where I've done a time with them and then had to go back a couple of hours later. But through the whole process, I always let the signing company know what's going on. what's going on, because they are what? Looking for the documents. And what, because if the husband isn't available until after the last drop, it's not going to matter anyway. So you can get another notary to do both of them at 7:30, but 7:30 is the last drop for FedEx and 5 o'clock for UPS. So the last drop part is already missed. So that's not going to be an issue. But you can work your way through that and say, okay, well, if you're available this time and you have the time to come back, then boom. Or what I've done is you're available at this time, and then I can go meet. All right. I will say yes. See what happens. I think I can do it. All right. I just got to sign that for the night at noon. But the thing is, I've had that where I've had to go do it at the house with one spouse, and then at the mall with another spouse, or at the job with that spouse, or whatever. And if I have to do that to get the job done and to make, for the client, the signing company to be happy and everything, then I'll do that. And you keep them informed so that they won't think that that you're just, slumming around. Because if you don't tell them, hey, I'm doing it in 2 different time periods because of these factors, then they'll be thinking that, okay, why haven't you closed out yet? So this person said, they definitely need to understand the definition. Yep, that is correct. Yeah, so I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I've figured out over the years, and it's been 5 years now. That okay, these are little adjustments that I have to make here and there in order to make things happen on a consistent basis for me as a notary. And if you keep everybody informed about what you're doing, they'll be happy to work with you. If they don't want to do it that way or don't want you to do it that way, then, okay, but I'm offering solutions. They're available. I'm available at 3. One of them is available at 3. The other one's not available till 4:30. I don't have anything else going on, so I can do it with them and then come back. I can do it with them and then go to the next person, because there's nothing that actually says all the signers have to be done at the same place, unless there is something that says that. But as long as it gets done that same day, because we do split signings all the time. You see what I'm saying? There's split signings done all the time. I did a real estate closing for one company, and they had 6 different individuals, and I did them all in one day, and I had to print the documents out for each one independently and have each one sign it independently. It was the same document with all of their names on it, but instead of them all coming together at once to get it done one time, I got paid for each individual one. I was cool with that, because that be honest, that was $60 a pop. So I was like, bet. I was like, I'm cool with that. Had to clean that off. I didn't realize it was smudged. My bad, y'all. I was like, okay, to me, I'm like common sense, but you know what? That's mileage that I get to deduct, and that's $60 times 6 that I get to actually make. So okay, and I met them, and I got them all done. And 2 days, it had to do a second day because there were some issues with one of the documents, and the guy didn't quite understand what was written on there, so he had to talk to somebody to get it straight. But they paid me a trip fee, and then they paid me the full fee for going back out there to them. You get what I'm saying? I mean, it's just about going out here and doing the work, but don't get so caught up in the social media thing, because it's notaries. They spend all of their time each and every day in everybody's room. And I appreciate y'all hopping on the live, but y'all know most definitely I want y'all going out there and making money. I want y'all going out there and actually, putting yourself in a position to get income so that you can take care of yourself and your family and all of that. And that's what's most important, because at some point in time, you're gonna get oversaturated with stuff that you heard in everybody's room, and there's but so much we can talk about and say. Um, and that's why I sort of back down on doing a whole YouTube every single day, primarily because I'm out here trying to pull in the money. I mean, I'm like, I can either do YouTube and push that every single day, or actually go out here and make money doing closings and general notary work and specialty notary work. And I opt to do that. I opt to do the thing of making money that way. And then I'll put videos out here for y'all as I'm able to, and there's times where I want to do a video every single day, and I have videos in my head. And there's been times where I'm sitting down and in the middle of recording a video, and then an order will come in for like, we need this right now. And it's not necessarily that it pays a whole lot, but it's like, we need it right now. Or I get a phone call, and if they call me, okay, what do you need me to do? And I got to give my time to them because they're paying me. They're like, we need this done, and I'm trying to keep that relationship that I have. If you thought enough of me to actually call me over and above anybody else, I got to give you my time. I got to say yes to you. And I worked very hard to get to that point. Didn't know that was a point to get to, but somehow I've gotten to that point. You call me, you say, hey, I need you to do this. Okay. I check my schedule. Yep. And this week alone, really the first 2 weeks of April, or these first several days of March, I know I've gotten at least 5 orders based off of a company, whether a signing company or a title, contacting me directly and saying, can you do this for us? So what am I supposed to do? Okay, well, as soon as I finish the video, I'm like, okay, cool. And next thing I know, it's 2-3 days later, I'm like, oh man, I really want to do that video. So, I mean, there's at least 20 videos that I really want to do and talk about. And, as individual subjects. But what ends up happening, stuff like this, I'll just do a video where I'll just talk about everything, just throw it all out there at one time and all of that. And just roll with it that way, but I would love to do more shorter videos, more specific, but it just doesn't work that way. And now that I'm on Thumbtack and doing more general notary work, and that stuff pops up, and with Thumbtack, you got to be quick, fast, and in a hurry, because if you don't respond back quick, next thing you know, you done missed out, and you got, I already picked the notary. It's like, dang, so I'm just taking advantage of every opportunity to go out here and make money for my family. And that's what it's all about. That's what each one of you, I believe, is the reason why y'all joined, the notary business or doing this business, so you can make the money for yourself and your family. And if that's the case, then the bottom line is simply this: go out here, figure out what needs to be done, and do it. And when you do that, you're going to see so much, you're going to be so happy with yourself for doing that, and your family and all of that. So I understand everybody thinks that they got the answers, and they're going to say this and they that online. They're going to do what they do, but you got to figure out what you need to do for yourself and for your business, and you need to go execute that. And when you can do that, and don't worry about not doing it the way they said do it, but you figure out what's right for you and your family and in your area, you'll make the money that you need. And that's all I'm doing. I figured out what works here. I've heard all the stories. I've heard what they said do. I've heard about this and that. But some of that stuff isn't my personality. Some of it just doesn't work in my area. But I found what does work, and I'm making the money that I need to make to take care of my family. I want that for you. If you're willing to commit and do that, you're going to be fine. You're really going to be fine. All right. That is correct. And I'm going to just say this straight up. And it's going to tick some people off. Watch out for those apostille courses, because I guarantee you a percentage of them, how many, I don't know, but a lot of them have stolen the apostille stuff from Judy Lawrence, the queen of apostille. Somebody deemed her that, and she just went with it. But people have been taking her course and then going back out there and selling it like they're some kind of apostille guru. So be careful of that. Okay. I'm just going to, I don't know who all did it personally. Honestly, I really don't. I don't know the individuals' names, but I do know that there are individuals who have gone out there and taken Judy's course and then turned around and repackaged it as if it was their own. So you may need to ask them, how did you put this course together? Where did you get it from? There's a link in my bio in the description to sign up for Judy's course if you're interested. But it's amazing to me that a lot of people takes Judy's course and they talk smack about, well, she ain't teaching this and I don't know, I didn't learn. But then the material that they're teaching concerning apostille, for some of them, not all, centers around what she taught them. And if I am wrong, I will stand corrected. And this is not saying that everybody who's teaching, but there are some who are. And that's why I say you as the consumer have a right to inquire about, how did you put this together? Where did you get your training? And you don't have to say, did you steal it from Judy? You ain't got to say that, but you need to ask those questions, because thievery is running rampant out here in these notary streets. And if you've been following my channel, you know about a year and a half ago, the young lady stole my material along with other notaries out and then was selling it as if it was hers, putting it on a platform and making people pay her for what I'm offering for free. So if they would do it to me, if they would do it to Judy, don't think that when you try to do something, they're not going to do it to you. Okay? This is what's going on out here in this notary business. And unfortunately, and I'm going to end with this, there are people out here who don't want me or others talking about this side of the business. They don't want us to talk about that. They think it's aggressive. They think it's bad. No, be positive. When somebody is screwing you over, that's negative. Just because they're not talking negative, just because they don't have some kind of aggressive tone in their voice, don't mean that what they're doing isn't something negative. If you pay somebody for something and they refuse to assist you, refund you or whatever, when you go to talk to them or try to communicate with them and they just sort of like blow you off, it is clear that that is something negative. If it ends up causing a negative effect on you, now, if you supposed to have done something as a part of the agreement and you didn't do your part, and then they're obligated not to do their part, that's one thing. But if you have done your part and they're saying, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and then you call them for help and they don't pick up, you call them, you try to get in a Zoom meeting with them, and then they realize, oh, and they click you out and stuff because they don't want to deal with you. They don't want you to, or if they're making you sign an agreement saying that because you took my training, you can't publicly say anything negative about it, that's a problem. That's a problem. They should not be restricting your freedom of speech. What's going on, big man? They should not be restricting your freedom of speech when they screwed up and did something wrong and didn't come through. Okay, there's laws about that. Consumer Protection Act. Okay, nobody should squash your ability to communicate that you're not happy with something that they didn't do, and making you sign in an agreement saying, I agree not to, or I'm gonna get sued. You're gonna get sued for them not coming through on what they promised you they would. And if you say something publicly, you're going to get taken to court. Nah. Let me stop right there, because then me and Q got to get on here and pull out Black's Law Dictionary. There's something I'm telling y'all. There are people, if they can get over on you, they will. They will get over on you, okay? And they bet on you being a person who wants to stay non-confrontational and don't want to have any smoke being blown at you, anything like that. They're like, oh, no, I ain't got time for that. So you just let it slide, and then they get you, and then another, and another, and another.
and see, and that's why you got to read these agreements with these trainers. And I know that might get me in trouble with them, but I'm just saying, because I found out listening to, and I got to go back when I get time to speak, but that's what some of the scammers do. And that's why a lot of times you don't hear stuff. And I'm not saying they're doing it in notary, but they may not, I don't know. But there are people out there who are allegedly creating courses, and then they make you sign the course thing, and in the fine print it says you agree by taking this course not to say anything negative about the course or the creator of the course, ... or you're gonna get sued. And that ain't good. That is not right. You see what I'm saying? All right, party people, I'm about to bounce out of here, going to here, knock out this sign in, and then head on back home. Y'all have a great one. Appreciate y'all riding with me today. And I think we should be able to do a Fritter Friday. I got to check my schedule. And if y'all got any ideas or topics y'all want me to cover, drop them in the comment section, and we'll get on top of it. All right. Talk to y'all later. Peace.